Good day everyone! Today, I will discuss the various theories of crime causation and I will discuss two various theories which is relative deprivation and general strain theory. First, I will discuss the relative deprivation theory. What is relative deprivation theory? Relative deprivation is formally defined as an actual or perceived lack of resources required to maintain the quality of life, diet, activities, and material possession. In simpler terms, relative deprivation is the feeling that you are generally worse off than the people that you are associated with and comparing yourself to. For example, when you can only afford a economic compact car, but your coworker same salary as you get a luxury sedan car, and you may feel deprived when you saw it because you may feel not contented on what you have. This theory developed by Robert K. Merton. Robert K. Merton is American sociologist who studied American soldiers during World War II, revealed that soldiers in the military police were far less satisfied with their opportunities for promotion than the regular GIs. And this theory credited by Samuel Stouffer. Samuel Stouffer is sociologist who developed the approach while studying social psychology during World War II. In proposing the first formal definition of relative deprivation, British statesman and sociologist Walter Runciman listed the effects for required conditions. This is Walter Runciman for required condition. First, a person does not have something. Second, that person knows other people who have the thing. Third, that person wants to have the thing. And fourth, that person believes he or she has a reasonable chance of getting the thing. Runciman also drew a distinction between egoistic and fraternalistic relative deprivation. First, we will define what is egoistic relative deprivation. Egoistic relative deprivation is driven by an individual's feelings of being treated unfairly compared to others in the group. For example, an employee who feels he or she should have gotten a promotion that went to another employee, he or she may feel relatively deprived. Second is paternalistic relative deprivation. Paternalistic relative deprivation is more often associated with massive group social movements like the civil rights movement. The theory of relative deprivation holds that people who live in deteriorated urban areas and lack basic needs resort to such crimes such as robbery, aggravated assault, and theft. Can relative deprivation concept may apply to white-collar crime? I can say that it can apply to white-collar crime because we know that white-collar crime is a criminal act that performed by the people in the course of business committed for financial gain. This is the people who is more greedy and they want more wealth. That's why they can also relative deprive even if they have more wealth and have money and power. Next theory that I will going to discuss is general strain theory. What is general strain theory? General strain theory states that strain increase the likelihood of crime, particularly strains that are high in magnitude are seen and adjust, are associated with low social control and create some pressure or incentive for criminal code. It means that the idea of general strain theory is the variation in strain and the resultant of emotion can increase the likelihood of acts of crime and delinquency. General strain theory is developed by Robert Agnew and Helen Ruskin White. Robert Agnew is Associate Professor of Sociology at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. His research focuses on the causes of delinquency, particularly strain and social control theories. He is currently conducted an empirical test of general strain theory with Helen Ruskin White. This is some example of general strain. First is parental rejection. Parental rejection because some children, we know that some children wants to have a happy family. But their parents just reject them, so that it may cause the children to have their revenge and do some crime or some unnecessary acts. Next is criminal victimization. The example of criminal victimization is bullying, robbery, physical abuse, and assault. The third one is a desperate need for money. We know that some rich people wants to gain more and more money. That's why they can also commit a crime because they I think that they are possessed in achieving the wealth that they want to achieve. Um, Lastly is discrimination. Next one is Agnus sources of strain and their consequences. I will discuss the sources of strain, negative affective states, and antisocial behavior. First sources of strain is failure to achieve goals. This type of strain occurs when the youth aspires to wealth and failure, but lacking financial and educational resources assumes that such goals are impossible to achieve. Second is disjunction of expectation and achievements. When people compare themselves to peers who seem to be doing a lot better financially or socially, such as making more money or getting higher or better grade. Even those doing relatively well feel strained. The third one is removal of positive stimuli. This may lead to delinquency as the adolescent tries to prevent the loss, retrieve what have been lost, substitute or seek revenge against those responsible for the loss. The last sources of strain is presentation of negative stimuli. Strain may also caused by negative stimuli such as child abuse, neglect, stressful life events, physical punishment, family, and peer conflict. This is the negative affective states from the sources of strain. First is anger, next is frustration, disappointment, depression, and fear. And this is the antisocial behavior from the negative affective states. Um, they can do drug abuse, delinquency, violence, and dropping out. Bert Agnew also described four characteristics of strain that are most likely to lead to crime. This is strain are seen as unjust. Second is strain are seen to as high in magnitude. Third, strain are associated with low social control. And lastly, fourth, strains create some pressure or incentive to engage in criminal coping. Before my discussion end, I want to share Robert K. Merton quotes, which is, it is a good idea to be ambitious, to have goals, to want to be good at what you do, but it is a terrible mistake to let drive and ambition get in the way of treating people with kindness and decency. That is the end of my discussion. Hope you guys learn about the various theories of crime causation, which is general strain theory and relative deprivation theory.